Hello, my name is Free Happy Dolphin and welcome to Verdict series, where we evaluate games from 100-minute dive episodes and put them on the leaderboard. So without further ado, let's dive into Laysara Summit Kingdom evaluation. Starting with short-term engagement, I think this game performs really well. You might not expect many surprising things from yet another city builder title, but this one has something special to offer and is much more complete than few others in the series. Even though you could summarize city builders as asking you to solve the task of using some resources in a smart way to overcome deficiencies of other ones, this game somehow transforms all traditional genre features to look slightly different and surprising. Everything from resource gathering, combinations of buildings to free race system and much more, not to mention the hilarious humor, elevates this game to something special. Characters presenting its features in interesting ways are fun too, the pacing is great and you are motivated by curiosity to unlock everything, because each new element feels like a little surprise. The weaknesses in this category, visible from the big picture, is that every new feature or interaction either requires you to repeatedly rebuild your bases or know in advance how to build the most optimized city for maximum population levels. For example, imagine that to get a new building you need more monks. To satisfy them you need some buildings from artisans, for those you need artisans, and for artisans you need to get more buildings of lowlanders, and so on and so on. After building anything new, you're usually met with this ripple effect of shortages. It becomes a main bottleneck for all new features you may want to try out right away. And it's needless to say that when the game starts to feel like a chore, it becomes boring quickly. I may be off by half a point here, but this issue seems significant, at least in my playthrough, so I'm giving 4 out of 5 here. Now, with the biggest issue I see in the game laid out in the first category, the replayability and complexity becomes much easier to evaluate. Of course, as someone who loves competition, I always look for a bit of multiplayer aspect or some sort of leaderboards to fill out that spot, and it's empty here. But everything apart that feels great because there's tons of different content in order you to try beat the game. We have many buildings working in unique ways, their combinations, many different maps to try, 5 difficulty levels, or creating a really detailed custom one, and so on. Also, we have detailed and clear feature development roadmap, promising even more content. Of course, you might say that without heavy leaning on numbers, strategic depth is limited due to just being asked to manage building placements really in this game, and you would be partly correct. So after evaluating this and the multiplayer cons as slight weaknesses, I give 4 out of 5 stars. Third category, visuals and audio are great. I love the art, I love the music, voice acting and cinematic scenes. Everything works really well together. The only irritating thing I noticed while editing the 100-minute dive episode is sudden drop of the music when entering any building menus. I did not notice that while playing, so it might just be a feeling because of editing at 2x speed, but because of that, and because even though everything feels great together, if taken one by one, a lot of features still need improvement. Because of that, I will give 4.5 out of 5 here. I'm happy with handling and user interface as well. Menus and the game info are clear, no bugs and easy controls. However, customization options and shortkeys are not fully implemented. Solutions for most of the actions putting on the keyboard are not there, and also not letting do that for the player is big minus, especially because of what other games have to offer these days on this feature. So for handling and user interface, 4 out of 5. And finally, uniqueness is another great category for Laysara. City builder, of course, is not unique genre by itself, we need to remember that. But solutions and methods like range, races, resource production systems, and unique tilted city area that nicely blends into clouds without invisible walls to cut off the map are so great to play around with. How well does it compete with other city builders? Well, I think quite well. From our series, for example, I see it as one of the best in this genre, and while not heavily emotional, jokes can cover this area really well, so even if it's not the sole leader in city builders and doesn't invent a totally new genre, I think it's still really unique. 4 out of 5. There are no negative features that I'd like to point out, so we get a total score which is 4.1 stars and takes 3rd place on our leaderboard. It seems to be fair score and placement, however, maybe as a personal preference I would switch it with Bladrock. If you want to see the full leaderboard, visit community posts on YouTube or X account, and if you would like to have early access of these evaluations together with summary of those on the date when 100-minute dive episode becomes public, visit my Patreon page. All links in description down below. Thank you for watching. This was Free Happy Dolphin and see you next time.